The Minnesota Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers 34-31. Aaron Rodgers' comeback attempt falls a little bit short for the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins, he went 24-35, 341 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson is having a great sophomore season. He had 8 receptions, 169 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. For the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, outstanding. He went 23 of 33, threw for 385 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Davante Adams showed why he is still the undisputed best receiver in the NFL. He has 7 receptions, 115 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. So, as I watch this game, I know everyone wants to talk about Kirk Cousins. He had 3 touchdowns, and he distributed the football between Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen very, very well. And I thought he ran the Vikings offense at a high level. And I want to give him credit because in this game, he had a quarterback rating of 128.4. He went 24 of 35, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, which obviously he completed 69% of his passes in this game. So I like the way Kirk Cousins played in this game. And I want to give Kirk Cousins credit for how he's played this entire season. I believe Kirk Cousins is a dark horse for NFL MVP. And I've been on record talking about how Kirk Cousins doesn't play well in big time games. He always comes up short when his team needs him the most. But I have to give him credit for his performance so far this season. He has the best touchdown interception ratio in Minnesota Vikings history right now, with 21 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He has 2,775 total passing yards. Kirk Cousins is playing some great football right now for the Minnesota Vikings. And I want to give him credit for how he's played so far this season. And he is a part of the reason why the Minnesota Vikings are a sleeper in the NFC, sitting at 5-5 on the season. And, you know, coming into this game, and also even in this game, the Vikings are the only team in the NFL that led every game that they played by 7 points or more. Now, I know they have a 5-5 record, but every game they played in this year, they've led by 7 points at one point in that particular game. That's because Kirk Cousins has been playing some great MVP level football. But watching this game in the fourth quarter, as great as Kirk Cousins has played this year, Kirk Cousins always creates opportunities for the opposing team to take advantage of. And in this game, the biggest takeaway for me was my Packers defense did not take advantage of the opportunities that Kirk Cousins threw our way. Darnell Savage, he's a great safety for the Green Bay Packers. He had 2 opportunities in this game for 2 interceptions. And in both of those particular plays, he did not get it done. And on the last drive, Darnell Savage caught an interception. He dropped it, and I thought it was going to be an interception. The Packers would have been at the Minnesota 40 in position to kick the game-winning field goal and improve to 9-2 on the season. And Savage dropped the interception. And they had thought he had caught the interception, even the announcers, because they said it's an interception. The ruling on the field was an interception, but officials went to the booth and it was overturned. So I thought, watching this game, especially in the fourth quarter, there were opportunities where the Packers defense had chances to have takeaways and turn this game completely around. And I thought Kirk Cousins gave us opportunities in the fourth quarter specifically, and we just didn't take advantage of those opportunities. And that was the biggest difference in the game for me. I'm not going to take away from Kirk Cousins' performance in this game and his overall performance throughout the regular season so far. Again, I think he's a dark horse for NFL MVP. But in this particular game, especially in the fourth quarter, I thought the Packers defense didn't take advantage of the opportunities that Kirk Cousins threw their way. Now, in Kirk Cousins' defense, he has 2 of the best receivers in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. I believe Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are the best duo of receivers we have in the NFL. I think they're at the top of that list. I think it's hard to slow down this Vikings offense, considering they got Dalvin Cook in the backfield, an elite running back in the NFL, and you got two wideouts who you can throw the ball to, who can make plays on the perimeter in this Vikings offense, in Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. In this game, they both played great for the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. Jefferson, he had 8 receptions, 169 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Thielen, 8 receptions, 82 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. So I thought they were key components to the Vikings winning this game, as well as Kirk Cousins. And I thought the Packers defense honestly did a great job up front at containing Dalvin Cook, because as great as Jefferson and Thielen are, this Vikings offense runs through Dalvin Cook. And here's the reason why they have success the way that they do. In this game, the Packers defense, they held Dalvin Cook to 22 carries, 86 rushing yards. He averaged close to 4 yards per carry, though, with 1 touchdown. I thought that was pretty good. But, again, I just thought overall on that side of the ball, the difference was the Packers defense didn't take advantage of the opportunities that Kirk Cousins threw their way. I believe in the first half, Savage caught another interception, but it was called back by a roughing the passer penalty. So, again, if you look at the statistical numbers by Kirk Cousins, you will say, oh, Kirk Cousins played sensational. 3 touchdowns, 341 yards passing on the afternoon. He played great. But honestly, if you watch the game like I did from start to finish, you would see that the Packers defense didn't take advantage of the opportunities that they had. And that was the difference in the game. Now, on the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers was absolutely sensational. And I thought he put on an MVP caliber performance in this game. 23 of 33, threw for 385 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. I thought Aaron Rodgers was sensational yesterday afternoon in Minnesota. Did you see that throw that he threw across his body to Deguara, the touchdown pass? It was a dart he threw to Deguara. And then on the 2 other touchdown passes that he threw, well, he had 3 for the game because he threw a late touchdown pass to Valdez-Scantling. That was a great throw as well. But the touchdown pass that he threw to Devontae Adams, when he had pressure off the edge from Everson Griffin, and Devontae was able to fake out his man, and Aaron Rodgers was able to find him in the end zone on the left side of the field. It was a great performance from Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers showed why he is still the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and he deserves to be in that MVP conversation. And so far on the season, you know, Aaron Rodgers, he has 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 2,571 passing yards. He's completing 67% of his passes. I thought Aaron Rodgers was the catalyst for this Packers offense. You know, we don't have Aaron Jones right now, so the Packers offense had to rely on Aaron Rodgers through the air, and I thought Aaron Rodgers delivered at a very, very high level. He had a 148.4 passer rating on the afternoon. He was great. And so the Packers offense, they were 7-11 on third downs, 467 total yards of offense. So that was very, very impressive. Here's where the game changed for me and was the deciding factor in the game. Coming into the game, the Packers, they were the most least penalized team in the NFL. And the Vikings were the most penalized team in the NFL. In this game, it was the complete opposite. The Packers had 8 penalties for 92 yards. The Vikings had 3 penalties for 25 yards. So in this particular game, I thought the Vikings were prepared more so than the Packers. And I just got the feeling that Mike Zimmer had his players more prepared than Matt LaFleur did in this game. Now, I believe Matt LaFleur is a great coach. Don't get it twisted. Don't fly off the rails. I'm not saying Matt LaFleur can't coach. I think Matt LaFleur is one of the best young coaches in the NFL, just like Sean McVay, just like Cliff Kingsbury with Arizona, because Cliff Kingsbury is doing a hell of a job right now. I believe Matt LaFleur is one of the best young coaches in the NFL. He's been to back-to-back NFC championship games as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers the last few years. But I thought in this particular game, Mike Zimmer, to his credit, had his team more prepared than Matt LaFleur did. So, again, those are my takeaways from the game. I think Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, they are two great playmakers for the Minnesota Vikings in their offense, and I thought they led the way for Minnesota in this game, and Kirk Cousins did a great job at finding them in this game and got them the ball when they were open. And again, I thought the fact that the Packers had so many penalties at critical moments in this game is what ultimately derailed them and why they fell on the season to 8-3. But I still think the Packers are a good football team. I still believe in this Packers team overall, and I believe that the Packers are in a position to go on a run once they come back from the bye and they have an opportunity to get some guys back from injury because they got so many injuries right now. Aaron Rodgers is playing with a toe injury. He said last night in his post-game press conference, the toe injury is worse than turf toe. So he's dealing with the painful toe injury right now that he said re-aggravated in the first half of yesterday's game. Also, Aaron Jones, he has an MCL injury. Alan Lazard, he's playing through an injury right now. Malik Taylor, Robert Tonyan, David Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, who tore his ACL yesterday in the game. He's done for the season. Josh Myers, Zadarius Smith, Whitney Marcellus, Rashawn Gary, Chauncey Rivers, Randy Ramsey, Jair Alexander. The Packers are dealing with so many injuries right now. And honestly, as a Packers fan, I think it's amazing that they are sitting right now at 8-3 on the season and at the top of the standings right now in the NFC North. It is a testament to how great of a job Matt LaFleur is doing coaching this football team. And I got to give some credit to Brian Gutekunst, the general manager for the Packers, and Mark Murphy. The organization has players who are playing at a very, very high level who are backups. You saw DeGuara step up yesterday in the game against the Vikings. He caught his first touchdown pass of his career for the afternoon. He had only 2 receptions, 37 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. But I expect DeGuara's role to increase as we get later into the season because you know Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur wants to use their tight end in this offense. I know Devontae Adams is a huge part of what the Packers do offensively, but they want to have another weapon in their tight end like DeGuara to rely on for Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball to as we get later in the season and into the postseason. So I expect his role to increase as the season goes along. A.J. Dillon yesterday, 11 carries, 53 rushing yards. He didn't have a great day on the ground like he did last week against the Seattle Seahawks, but I still expect A.J. Dillon to contribute to this Packers offense moving forward, especially considering Aaron Jones is out right now with the MCL injury. But I just think it's amazing that the Packers are sitting at 8-3 on the year. And if they can get some of these key players back as we get later into the season, I believe this Packers team is positioned to go on a deep playoff run. I really, really do, especially if you can get Jair Alexander back and Zadarius Smith. We haven't seen Zadarius Smith all season long. He hasn't played. Well, he did. I think he did play. He played in week 1 against the Saints, and we haven't seen him since. So they said David Bakhtiari that there's a possibility he will return back to the lineup in December at some point. But with Elton Jenkins going down with the torn ACL, it's going to be extremely important for David Bakhtiari to return back to the lineup for the Green Bay Packers. And it's going to just be important overall for them to get some of these key players back down the stretch. If they can get some of these key players back, I think they can go on a playoff run. Now, last thing I want to say about Minnesota, I do believe the Minnesota Vikings are a sleeper in the NFC. I believe this defense has gotten better as the years went along. I believe a team led by Mike Zimmer is going to play good defense. Not necessarily great, but I think they're going to play good defense. And I think this Minnesota Vikings team has an opportunity to make the playoffs, even at 5-5 on the season. Let's look at their schedule down the stretch. So this week, they got to go to San Francisco, take on the 49ers. 49ers been coming along, playing some great football. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars yesterday in Jacksonville. Kyle Shanahan has them getting their mojo back. That's going to be a tough matchup for the Vikings. Week 13, they're at Detroit. That's a win. Week 14, home against the Steelers. That could be a tough matchup for the Vikings, but it's a game they could possibly win. Week 15, they're at Chicago. I would favor the Vikings to beat the Bears right now. There are reports that it's a possibility that Matt Nagy may be fired if the Bears lose Thursday against Detroit. We'll see what happens there. And then week 16, Minnesota is home against the Rams. And then week 17, they're at Green Bay. So these next 6 games for the Minnesota Vikings are crucial for their playoff hopes. If they can go 4-2, I think they'll have an opportunity to make the playoffs. I think if they can go, like I said, 4-2, they'll have an opportunity. If they finish, I'll say maybe 10-7, I think they'll be a playoff team. I do. In the NFC, they'll be a playoff team with a 10-7 record. So that means down the stretch, they would have to go 5-2. 5-2, they would have to go down the stretch. So I think that's possible. Week 18, they're home against the Bears again. So they still got the Bears twice in their schedule. They're at Lambeau week 17. If they go 5-2 during that 7-game span, I expect the Minnesota Vikings to be in the playoffs and playing on wild card weekend. They'll finish 10-7 on the season. We'll see if they can get it done.